Welcome to IFAStories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred world of Ifa, the Yoruba spiritual system, where every tale carries the power of divination, destiny, and deep cultural insight. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Orishas, the divine forces guiding our paths, Orunmila, the Iron Moles, and many more. Each story is a bridge between the past and the present, weaving timeless lessons that inspire, enlighten, and transform. Embrace the wisdom, honor the tradition, and journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe now and let the stories guide you. To explore full Yoruba stories, Ifa teachings, and ancestral wisdom, visit our website, www.ifastories.com. Step into the sacred path for more resources and information. Òṣé Méjì departs for the earth. Òṣé Méjì parte hacia la tierra. Òṣé Méjì left heaven for earth without telling anyone. He didn't even consult Ifa or perform any sacrifice. He was born to elderly parents who had lost hope of ever having children. He was born with gray hair on his head and lived to an old age on earth, but only after having returned to heaven to make a sacrifice. We will later see how this happened. As he grew up, he became a terror among his peers. His parents died when he was still a child, and from then on he lived by his own means. He did not practice the vocation of Ifa, nor any respectable profession. He was a wandering wrestler. However, he did not live a happy life. He barely fed himself, as he did nothing that could bring him the means to survive. One day, he went out to wrestle, since that was the only profession he knew. He went to the palace of Alara to challenge him to a wrestling match. He defeated Alara, but received no reward for his victory. He then went to Ijero, where he also challenged Ajero to a match. Again, he emerged victorious, but gained no compensation. He went to Kwalwo, where he defeated the Olowo. Then he went to Benin, where he defeated the Oba Ado. He did the same with all 16 kings, Po'otbas, known in the world at that time. After finishing his wrestling encounters, he was returning home empty-handed when he met 3 Babalawos on the road between Ado and Ife, who stopped him. These Awas were called Sekele, Ogba, Gun, Onagbaja, Ogba, Goji, Ekoji, Otunia, Ogba, Agrikpa, Obubko, meaning one who did somersaults and earned 20 rewards, one who advanced and earned 40 rewards, one who won a goat after 3 days. After divination, they told him he was starving because he wasn't practicing the profession he was destined to fulfill on earth. Nevertheless, they assured him that he would eventually prosper in his chosen wrestling profession, but only after making a sacrifice, which had to be carried out in heaven. He didn't take them seriously, as he couldn't imagine how he would travel to heaven to make a sacrifice. At that time, Osu had closed the path between heaven and earth. The Awas told him he could not expect anyone he had defeated in combat to reward him with gifts. However, they advised him to offer whatever he could to his deceased father, who could rescue him from his hardship. When he arrived home, he offered a rooster to his father and begged him to guide him along the path of his destiny. Meanwhile, his father went to his guardian angel in heaven and complained that Òṣé Méjì was not doing well on earth. The guardian angel replied that this was because he was too aggressive. Together, his father and the guardian angel decided to persuade the good blessings of heaven to visit Òṣé Méjì on earth. Traditionally, as soon as the rooster crows in the morning, this signals that the good things of life are leaving heaven to begin their daily visits to the world. This group includes children, peace, wealth, longevity, money, health, and prosperity. They leave heaven in the early hours of the morning to visit anyone who is open to receive them on earth. Before leaving heaven each morning, they pass by the area inhabited by the guardian angels of all living beings on earth. Òṣé Méjì's father spent that night with his son's guardian angel in heaven. In the early hours of the following morning, after the rooster crowed, the good blessings of heaven informed the guardian angels that they were heading to earth and asked if they had any messages for their protégés. Òṣé Méjì's guardian angel stepped forward and asked them to visit his protégé on earth, but they all unanimously replied that they dared not visit him, for he would destroy them. They reminded his guardian angel how aggressive he had been in heaven and the disturbance he caused before fleeing to earth. They insisted that good and evil do not coexist, except in combat, that heat and coolness cannot dwell together, just like light and darkness cannot occupy the same space at the same time. As long as he persisted in antagonizing and dishonoring those who could bless him, they would never approach him. With these declarations, the good messengers of heaven departed for earth. Afterwards, Meyi's father began to cry because of his son's desperate condition. He again pleaded with the guardian angel, who revealed that he had made him stay overnight in heaven so he could witness what his son had been enduring since he descended to earth. His guardian angel said he had spent years trying to convince the blessings of heaven to visit Meyi, but they consistently refused for the reasons they had just stated. As a result of his father's persistent pleading, the guardian angel decided to try a new strategy. He told the father to return home and to look at his son before the rooster crowed the next morning. The father did not understand the significance of this statement. As soon as Meyi's father left, the guardian angel went to the wife of death and offered her kola nuts as gifts. It is known that disease is the wife of the king of death. Just like heaven's blessings visit earth each day, so does disease, the wife of death, make her daily rounds. Death himself does not descend, he sends messengers. Meyi's guardian angel persuaded the lady of death to meet his protege on earth and invite him to heaven, as something important awaited him. The old woman agreed to deliver the message that very day. Meanwhile, on earth, Meyi suddenly fell ill, something that had never happened before. By evening, his illness worsened and he fell into a coma. Since no one liked him, there was no one to care for him. In fact, people rejoiced when they found him unconscious. Just before midnight, his soul departed, and no one even realized he had died. As no one was around, he had neither wife nor children. As soon as life left his body, he appeared instantly in heaven before his guardian angel, who had told his father earlier to return home before sunset. His father was therefore present in the guardian angel's house when Òṣé Méjì arrived. Only then did his father understand the meaning of what the guardian angel had said about seeing his son before the rooster crowed. They both welcomed him, and before dawn, the guardian angel instructed him to hide behind a mat that had been prepared for the occasion. Shortly after the rooster crowed, the blessings of heaven again visited the homes of all guardian angels. When they arrived at the guardian angel's house, he called each one by name: children, harmony, wealth, health, prosperity, money, and so on. He once again begged them to visit his protege, Meyi, on earth because he was in great need. Once again, they said they were not used to repeating the same story day after day. They explained that Meyi was too vengeful to deserve a proper welcome from any of them, and that they had sworn never to visit the street he lived on, much less his home. They declared unanimously that they never visited anyone who would destroy them, and that any man capable of defeating kings, princes, and even divinities in combat could easily crush them in his hands. His father then shouted that the man behind the mat should listen to what the messengers of divine fortune were saying about him. Behind the mat, Meyi was speechless. Only then did he realize that he had been pursuing the wrong goals in life. As soon as the guests of abundance left, he came out and asked his guardian angel and his father what he should do. He was told to make the sacrifice he had failed to offer before leaving heaven. He was advised to immediately offer a goat to Òṣé, who would wash his head and back to gradually reduce his destructive strength. He made the sacrifice at once because the goats he had left behind in heaven had multiplied many times over. He also told his guardian angel to offer the largest of his cows to the celestial police for a communal feast. After this, his guardian angel told him to take a special path that would return him to earth. As soon as he stepped onto that path, he blinked and instantly awoke on earth. 3 days later, he fully recovered. Though he vividly remembered everything that had happened in heaven, he once again began to prepare for wrestling tournaments. But before doing so, he sacrificed a goat to his father and a ram to Ifa, the earthly representation of his guardian angel, and prepared a grand feast for them. People from the surrounding areas were astonished. He had previously been known to make no sacrifices. He also gave another goat to Òṣé. 2 days later, he departed for the palace of Alara. On the road, he met an old babalawo, who was a transfiguration of Òṣé, pretending to be a diviner. The old man told him he would be going into a wrestling match, but although he could defeat his opponents, he should pretend to fall to the ground as soon as the match began, and be alert in the matches that would follow, for he would not regret the results. The old man clearly told him, as soon as he shouted, "Gidigbo, Gidigbo," the chant that begins a wrestling match, he should fall to the ground. He started at the palace of Alara. He shouted, "Gidigbo, Gidigbo," and Alara came out. As soon as they began, Òṣé Méjì lifted Alara into the air, but then dropped to the ground before the king landed on him. Following the old Babalawo's advice, he remained on the ground without rising. Meanwhile, Òṣé caused unprecedented chaos in the town. Darkness fell, the earth trembled. Roosters laid eggs. Hens began to crow. Pregnant women had false labor. Forest animals stampeded into the town, and domestic animals fled into the forest. When Alara saw this, he begged Òṣé Méjì to rise. Once again, the old Babalawo appeared from nowhere and intervened. He told Alara that it was forbidden for the son of Runmila to lie on the ground, and that in order for him to rise, they must appease him with 100 of each: strong men, young maidens, cows, goats, roosters, hens, bags of money, and so on. Out of fear, Alara ordered that every house in town produce the required offerings. As soon as they were gathered, Òṣé Méjì rose. The old Babalawo prepared Iyerosun, divination powder, blew it into the air, and light, peace, and calm returned to replace the darkness, chaos, and confusion. Òṣé Méjì then ordered the people offered to him to take the provisions to his house in Ife and start building new dwellings before he returned home. The next morning, he went to the palace of Ajirokin Osa, where the same events occurred, followed by visits to Ela Rongun, Olovo, Oni, Oba Ado, and others, where he received similar rewards. At the end of his journey, he became exceedingly rich, and prosperity had finally come his way. This incident marked the beginning of payment for divination, because casting the opal, divination chain, on the ground symbolized the fall that Òṣé Méjì made before the kings, which is why they paid large offerings. That is why, when Òṣé Méjì appears in divination, the client should be advised to refrain from anything that involves physical force. They should be told they are not prospering in life, and that prosperity will not come unless they change their ways, embracing caution and discretion in all their affairs.